This episode is sponsored by Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. May's featured entertainment includes Jamie Lissow on the 18th and Randy Houser on the 31st. Also enjoy special race day and Mother's Day buffets in the Skyline Terrace. Details and reservations at HollywoodCasinoCharlestown.com. Must be 21 to enter the casino floor and attend a show. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Sheryl Crow will be honored at the Grammys on the Hill event tomorrow night at the Hamilton in Washington, D.C. I spoke with Recording Academy CEO Harvey Mason Jr. about why she's so darn deserving, as well as which music laws they're advocating for on Capitol Hill. Harvey Mason Jr., hey, thanks so much for joining us again this year on WTOP.
Amazing to be here. Thanks, Jason. Good to talk to you. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, you're the Recording Academy CEO. We need to say that. Give you your proper flowers. But you're coming back to Nation's Capital for Grammys on the Hill. It will be on, what's the day? April 30th, I guess, is the actual ceremony, and then May 1st, Wednesday, will be like the day of advocacy.
That's right.
Tell us who this year's nominee is. It's a very, very awarding singer-songwriter in my book.
It is. Well, there's a couple honorees. You know, we honor an artist, and that honor we're excited to announce is Sheryl Crow. She's won a bunch of Grammys, but she also has been very active around fighting for the rights of music people and music creators for the last 25 years. So we're excited about that. And then our congressional honorees are Senators John Cornyn and Amy Klobuchar. So we're really, really excited about the lineup this year.
Absolutely. And we can sort of do a deeper dive on all of those honorees, as well as some of the issues you're going to advocate on the Hill. But I'll try to break them up, so you don't have to rattle all off at once. I'll try to break them up into separate sound bites for you.
Sure.
All right. So let's start with Sheryl Crow, the woman of the hour here. Man, I'm just looking at all of her songs, like her discography, and it's bringing back so many good memories. I'm gonna go album by album and ask you, if you have a favorite of them, because that Tuesday Night Music Club had All I Want to Do Is Have Some Fun and Are You Strong Enough to Be My Man? So many good ones, but Can't Cry Anymore. Do you have any favorites off of that one?
Yeah, I would say any record about having fun is going to be my favorite. So that was a big one. We sang along to that record for I don't know how many different things we did, and driving in my car, my friends. That was a song that definitely was a big part of my history.
Until the Sun Comes Up Over Santa Monica Boulevard. Come on, man. It's
That's
classic.
Right.
That was
classic.
And then, of course,
Classic.
her second album, the self-titled one, was even bigger. I mean, If It Makes You Happy, it can't be that bad. Every Day is a Winding Road, and a Change Will Do You Good. Man, I mean, these are great. All right, any favorites of those three I mentioned? If It Makes You Happy, Every Day is a Winding Road.
If it makes you happy is definitely a favorite. I sang that one too many times to mention. Sheryl Crow has cool songs. Like, she just has songs that they got such a vibe to them. When you sing them, you just feel good. Maybe not everyone, but some of my favorites, and you can't help but sing along with the Sheryl Crow hit.
I agree, and it makes you happy. What's great about it is it's sort of like contradicts itself. It's like, if it makes you happy, it can't be that bad, and then then it's like, but why the hell are you so sad? I love it. And obviously we don't have time to go through all of them, but she did the Tomorrow Never Dies theme for Bond. Then the Globe Sessions had My Favorite Mistake and You Don't Bring Me Anything But Down. And she did a great Sweet Child of Mine cover on the Big Daddy soundtrack. Adam Sandler, it was the whole thing. But what else?
Prolific, no question, prolific.
Prolific. We didn't even mention Soak Up the Sun on Come On, Come On. And then the first cut is the deepest. I mean, it goes on and on. But cool. Well, what do you think it is about her songwriting? Is it just relatability? I mean, to me, I just think of her as sort of like our 90s version of like a Joni Mitchell did for like the 70s,
She just tells the stories in a way that's very relatable. She says things that are common sense and they make sense and they hit. For me, songwriters and singers are effective when they touch a part of the listener or the consumer. And sometimes it's a vocal, it's the way it makes you feel. You believe the singer, you feel like they've lived something or experienced something that they're relating to you, and it hits hard. And that's a singer that I love. And the same with the songwriter. They say things in a way that you're like, oh man, I've felt that before. I've experienced that before. And that's a great songwriter. And Cheryl's done both as a vocalist and as a songwriter. She's done it in a way that resonates with people and makes them feel identifiable, makes them feel understood and heard and relatable.
I love it. And of course, I assume she'll be performing, every year. Usually the Grammys on the Hill, it's there at the Hamilton in that beautiful space. And usually the artist gets up and performs a little at the end. I remember like Keith Urban singing,
Yep.
like there's always great ones every year. Pharrell was last year. But so she'll be singing. Do we know what yet? Or is it you got to come to find out, I guess.
We know, but it's probably got to be something exciting we can talk about later and people will be surprised. So it'll be fun.
Awesome. And then also what's always cool is, some of their favorite, peers and collaborators sometimes will come out and pay tribute too. Like, I don't know, could we maybe see Kid Rock doing a picture duet? Or I mean, who do we know who's coming?
There are a bunch of guests that will be coming. We're still confirming others, but there's Mark Ronson and the Warren Treaty and Lauren Daigle, Jesse Joe Dillon. There's a bunch of people coming. There's a long, long list. Jay Ivy, Patty Austin. So it's going to be kind of star studded.
Absolute kind of star-studded, very star-studded. Sheryl Crow alone is star-studded enough. And then like
Yep.
as you mentioned, we do have to mention the congressional honorees. Every year, usually there's a Democrat and a Republican that you honor. You mentioned it's Amy Klobuchar from the Democrat from Minnesota and John Cornyn, Republican from Texas. But why were they good ones to honor this year? And have they done specific legislation with music over the years, or why were they?
Yeah. They've just been champions for us and for music people over the years. Most recently during COVID, they really, really oversaw some great legislation. It was called Save Our Stages, which provided, I think it was 15 or 16 billion dollars in assistance to the stages and the clubs and venues that were being closed and that were being affected by COVID. People couldn't go to shows. There are all these incredible national treasures that are stages and venues across the country that were sitting empty and couldn't continue to support themselves. And so they saw that as an important thing to address. And so they were champions in that sense. And they've just been generally very supportive through that and other things that they've done around music.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, so in I guess sort of in closing, and we've talked about the musical honorary, we've talked about the congressional honoraries. Let's talk about some of the, forward thinking legislation and advocacy you're gonna do both that night and then, the next day, May 1st on the Hill. Talk about sort of what's the latest and greatest, most pressing things in terms. I think maybe AI, live tickets, stuff like that. But yeah, what are we advocating for?
Yeah, I mean, you probably can predict it. AI is going to be a big topic of conversation. So in the House, we're talking to members of Congress about something we're calling No AI Fraud Act. In the Senate, where it's called No Fakes Act. So it's making sure that there's legislation, some regulation around protecting human creativity. We obviously know AI is a big part of our society in the future. We know it's going to be a part of music and entertainment, but we want to make sure that there are guide rails and things in place that enable humans to use AI as an amplifier or a tool to do more interesting, more creative work, not something that replaces human creativity. So that's going to be a big area of focus for us this year.
Awesome. And then I saw something else listed in the press release about maybe something about reforming live event tickets.
Absolutely. Fans First Act. So we really have to get into how fans are able to purchase tickets and how they're able to attend live music concerts. There's things that have gotten a little bit out of control. So we're asking Congress to step in there and give us some assistance there.
Awesome. Well, I really, really appreciate you joining us again. I guess final seconds. Why is the Hamilton such a good spot to do it? I mean, you're right near the White House and the Capitol and all that, but just as a venue, you go down those steps and it's such a beautiful, intimate spot for this.
Oh, it's such a historic spot. Great vibes, great event, really good acoustics. It sounds incredible in that room. You've been down there. The sound and just the design and the aesthetic really makes for a special evening. And then, of course, good food, good people, perfect location, and then we've just had so many fun events there, so many great memories. A little bit of nostalgia started to stack up for us, so we're excited to be back.
Awesome. Again, everyone, it's Tuesday, April 30th. At the Hamilton will be the event, Grammys on the Hill, honoring Sheryl Crow and the Congress people. And then May 1st will
And
be the
Jason, and yeah, May 1st we're on the hill. And I gotta say, just for your listeners now, if you appreciate music and you understand the power of music and how it affects our world, our country, but greater our world, and the relationships and the diplomacy that's happening around the world, being in DC, I know you can all understand it, but the power of music is important. The power of music cannot be overlooked and should not be downplayed. And so our whole vision and our whole goal of coming to DC is to fight for music creators. The Academy has but one mission, and that is to support and uplift music people, because we know the power of music and we know the value of music. So, for your listeners, we're going to be there making sure that creators have a space to do the magic that they do, which is make this great art that is then shared with the world, is exported around the world, and the diplomacy that comes along with it. People have recognized that the United Nations is on board with us in the partnership. The State Department is on board in the partnership with us. Music is our greatest export. So for us, we have to be able to ensure the sustainability and the equity around music and the ownership, whether that's AI, whether that's streaming, whether that's copyright protection. There's a lot of things at play here. But the whole goal and purpose for the Academy to be in DC and to be in your great town is to make sure that we are supporting and advocating for music so it can do what it does for our world.
perfectly said. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. It's a treat every year, and great pick in Sheryl Crow and the rest, though. Not every day you talk to the head of the Grammys, so this is an honor. Thank you.
Oh, it's an honor to talk to you. Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time.